So, welcome to Let's Talk About It, and we're in Kitely, of course. We've moved along the coast a bit, if you notice. But before we start the actual session, I just want to say, April, you asked about the vocabulary challenge, and I've been looking and scratching my head. I tried to figure out a way to do an extra session. I can't, so it will be all changed for Friday's session in Kitely. Friday's session in Kitely will be aimed at the previous week's vocabulary challenge, okay?
At 3 o'clock then?
Yes, the 3 o'clock session, yeah. Okay, and that way, if we don't cover everything, we can always sort of extend it a bit into TGIF, and but I'm hoping we'll be able to do sort of one a week, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. It's just I've decided I don't want Monday Live Chat to be for the vocabulary session because it's the beginning of the week. Some people aren't, well, a lot of people aren't taking part in vocabulary challenge, and it's a bit boring for them if they have to sit through that. Kitely is more restricted, as you know, for people who can take part. And with the streaming and the fact I've got more visual elements in Kitely, I think it will lend itself. Okay, so does anybody need a lounger? Rima, there's a spare lounger for Traum, so don't worry about standing and being a gentleman. There are enough loungers for everybody. April, come and lie with me, Hermina. Now there's an offer, Hermina. Come lie with me, Hermina. Sorry, April, you were saying.
What was my question again? For vocabulary challenge, are you going to stream? Because I thought that the pictures is not...
Yes, I'm going to stream, but not with the pictures.
Oh, it's not with picture.
No, I can't stream the pictures. Well, I can, but then I can't publish them on YouTube. So I won't be streaming the picture. What I can do with Kitely, though, is I can, I don't know, find some bottles of shampoo, maybe some sun lotion, that kind of thing. Okay, but let's start on today's session. Otherwise, we won't get anything done. So, last week and the week before, we were down on the beach, on the seafront. It was an urban sort of seafront. You could go and buy your ice creams. You could maybe go to the pub. Everything was there. But this week we're somewhere a little bit different. How would you describe this immediate area where we're all sitting? Where do you think we are geographically, geologically speaking, if you like? Ooh. Alex, you've got your mic open? If you could mute.
Sorry, I didn't hear the question because
there's a lot of noise there. Yeah, your microphone's open.
Yes.
You're in a noise. Okay. How would you describe this area where we're sitting? It's not really a beach. It's not really the seaside. It's along the coast, but how dry? Yes, luckily the tide's out. Anything else? The shore, yes, but the shore can also be the beach. There's a special term you can use for this kind of place.
I don't know the term in English.
Ah, yeah, that's always the problem, isn't it?
Yes, when you have a high slope between the shore and the water.
Yeah, that's often, you could call it a beach, but this isn't really, I mean, okay, we've got some sun loungers, but this isn't really the place you'd aim for if you wanted to go to the beach. We'd move further along the coast, back towards the ice cream shop if we wanted to be on the beach, past the dunes. And suddenly we're on a slightly different landscape, if you like, okay? Tram is desperate to lie next to me.
Definitely.
Oh my goodness. Ah, you've done it, Tram. Well done. Yeah. I'm afraid it's very difficult to share such things in in Kitely. It's not like Second Life. Oh, you can't see me again. I don't know. I had problems earlier as well. Maybe we've got a bit of lag on the servers. Anyway, we can hear each other. That's important. The streaming's working too, so you can always watch the stream. I'm not in my bikini though. I'm sitting here in my normal outfit. So Rima, take the mic.
We have actually it's like Siri from Montenegro. They call it, like, if I try to literally translate, Budva on the foam of the sea, like, because it's so close to the water, like. And I don't know if it's like something similar. Like, you can see like the bubbles from the sea, like it's so close to the water. So I thought that maybe because we are so close to the water. Uh,
So it's not a very
no.
large area. Can you type up what it is? Well, we're next to some cliffs, Alex, but I'm just trying to figure out what Rima means. April wrote foam. You can
No, that was
sometimes get
my question
foam.
to Rema.
Oh,
That
okay.
was my question because he said foam. I said I don't see any foam.
Yes, but it's like you can't see, but it's like I don't know if it's maybe it's it I can't translate it literally. Maybe it's because it's they try to, like, attractiveness of location, like the seaside is because it's so close to the sea, like it's we are right now so close to the water, so like this location is very attractive. It's not 1 kilometer far away from this place, so you can actually smell or something like it. You can notice some bubbles and how waves are coming or something similar. But I just literally translate because maybe we use in our language this. Um, I just translated foam because it's so close, like you can see the bubbles and everything in the water, like how water is moving because
Hello,
of
can you?
this
Oh,
of
sorry.
this short distance. Yeah.
And I have a question. That word spume is only when it comes to waves,
Okay.
or do you use that word for any
Okay.
other?
Spume can be used in other forms, but really that's the only time you'd hear it.
Okay.
Okay, and most people would just say, "Oh, look at all that froth on the beach." It's a bit of a
But
specialist
why?
term.
Yeah.
But why it is like you definitely noticed, like when the waves hit some cliff or the rock, and then they still remain something like I don't know if it's spume or a foam or something like it remains, but they I didn't it wasn't stinky because it's like it's it in Montenegro it's like it's not smell as you Lynn said,
Yeah, okay.
and it's
By the
not
way,
it's good view actually. They use it for some kind of superlative to speak about this place in superlative because near the sea is like a good a very attractive location for building some hotels or something like it rather than going to 1 kilometers or more uh, further from the sea.
okay. Yeah, I mean, usually spume is like a residue. It's there 1 minute, gone the next. It might lie around, but then it will slowly disappear. And I can't see any in this particular. And it's not something I would describe as a landscape. It's more a phenomena, if you like. It's something that can happen. Um, or there must have been a big storm out at sea because there's a lot of spume on the beach. That kind of thing. Now, April's asked, is it a peninsula? I'm going to have to just zoom out a little bit just to see if we're on a peninsula. Not really. Not really. Because it's actually going in. So, geographically speaking, we're more on an on an inlet. Yeah, an inlet than a peninsula. Peninsula really does stick out. And it's pretty much surrounded by water. Okay, but there's a particular word I'm looking for because this, if I stand up, okay, as I'm walking around, it's not we're not really on sand. There are some stones. You can see where the water's come in and left the deposit behind, and there's grass growing here. So what we tend to be on is more like mud than sand, and it's flat. So what we do is we call it a mud flat, literally.
No.
Well, whoever made up that word didn't have much in the way of imagination, okay? So we're actually lying on the mud flats looking out to sea. Now, does everybody know what a mudflat is from that description? Do you have any in your country? Do you have any areas like this in your country? Rima, the area you were describing to me, would that be described? Do you think that would take the name mudflat?
In Serbia we haven't see, but we were together with Montenegro, and so I usually go there because my roots are and my wife is from Montenegro, and maybe if I got it right in one place, that is like maybe it's good like for some kind of rheuma and similar illness or diseases, how to say, to treat it like in one place, but usually
that sounds
it's
like a mineral spa. That sounds like a spa. If people go there to take the waters.
To take the waters and to cover them with like with their some specific place, like to cover their bodies with this like
it sounds like the sort of place I should go.
Killing mud.
A healing mud. Okay. Well, the mud might come from mud flats then. That's very possible. So how do you think these mud flats, anybody else? Has anyone else got this kind of place in their country?
But I thought that mud flat should be wet, not dry like this.
Well, they are wet when the sea comes in. It's tidal, basically. They're also called tidal flats. So when the sea comes in, this is going to be wet. Okay? And when the sea goes out over the day, it will turn into a mud flat. Alex, take the mic. Alex? Don't forget to unmute, Alex. Did Alex say mic? Yeah, Alex asked for the mic. Alex, can you hear me? So Alex 222. Okay, can anybody hear Alex?
Nope.
No.
No.
Have you
She
unmuted?
definitely didn't unmute her mic because she spoke a few minutes ago.
Yeah, I know. I'm just wondering. We did have a problem last week on Friday. It might be your connection again, Alex, I'm afraid. I can see a white dot, so I think everything should be working, but no green wavy lines. And if you look at yourself when you're speaking, if you don't see green wavy lines over your head, it normally means there's something wrong with your mic or your connection. So make sure your mic's fully plugged in, because and not muted at the actual mic part of your microphone as well. I did that the other week. I muted it. I've got this little sort of controller on the mic itself, and I forgot I'd muted it on the controller, and I could not figure out why my mic wasn't working. And also it plugs in, and I'd pulled out the plug once as well with my chair. I moved my chair back. The plug popped out. I didn't notice, and nobody could hear me. So, Traum. Okay, in France, mudflats are natural areas. Exactly. Nice point, Alex. In fact, if you notice next to you, Alex, we've got a little bit of nature right next to you. And do be warned, because in England these guys can be very cheeky, especially if they think you've got food. So I'm just gonna check you out to see if you've got any fish and chips.
You
Okay,
mean on
Tram.
seagull?
Tram, take the mic.
Uh, maybe I was wrong when I heard what's a mud flat. I thought it is a wet area, as April mentioned, and I think when you step on this mud, it will left footprints. You will your boots or shoes will be soaked, and I thought that could be a mud flat for me. And if it is so, we
You're
we
right.
have such mud floods in our area, because we have a river, and when there is running less water, and the sandbank is visible, and we go down to the river, then the wet sand will left footprints
Yes,
there.
exactly. But when the sand's wet, when the mud flats are wet, when the tide's just gone out, okay, they're often called, another word is coastal wetlands. So yes, that word wet is in there, but don't think it's always got to be wet. Okay.
Lid?
Rima? Rima, yeah.
You're muted.
Oh, okay, you're here.
Okay, sorry, I was just saying, and I'd muted my mic. You'll hear it in the recording. They're also called coastal wetlands. So yes, you can have this sort of idea of being wet, the area being wet. But of course, it's tidal. You know, the sea comes in, it goes out, it dries out a bit, then it comes back in again, and it goes out. So it is tidal, okay? Anyway, let's do a little bit of reading. Who was the first to say hello to me today? Let's see. Okay, I think it was Alex, but Alex has had to log off. So the next one was Shiny. Shiny, are you okay to read today?
May I ask something? You haven't answered my question. So you said inlet, but I thought that inlet is only water, not the land, no?
Yeah, but the land, the water, the geography, we'll go to the inlet. You're describing the geographical feature, okay? It's an inlet. Whether you're standing on land or in the water, doesn't matter. It would be described as an inlet, okay?
Huh?
So, Shiny. I'm just trying to. Sorry, I've lost my. Yes, please. Okay, good, good. Yeah, don't. I mean, it's like saying it's only a peninsula if you're standing on the land. Yeah, you can see a peninsula from the water, and you can stand on the land and see the inlet and say and describe it as an inlet. Okay. Oh, my house is built on an inlet. Okay, we've got direct access to the water, to the beach, etc. So don't get too hung up about the inlet's the water part, and there's another word for the land part. Okay. Okay, so Shiny, if you'd like to start reading, here's your text.
Mud floods or mud floods, also known as tidal floods, are coastal wetlands that form when mud is deposited by tides or rivers. They are found in sheltered areas such as bays, lagoons, and estuaries. Mudfloods may be viewed geologically as exposed layers of bay mud resulting from deposition of estuary silts, clays, and marine animal detritus. Most of the sediment within a mudflood is within the intertidal zone, and thus the flood is submerged and exposed approximately twice daily.
Very good. So as you can see, tidal. So at some point, if we're not careful, the tide could come in and we end up getting our feet wet. If we're lucky, that's all that will happen. And then when the tide goes out, we can come down and sunbathe again. Nicely read, Shiny. Okay. Okay, I'm going to read that out. I just had a message from Traum. Lynn, how can I kill the noisy seagull? Come on, it's nature. Okay, so let me just give Shiny her text. We'll start with the word to know and known. Careful, it doesn't sound like noun. I know you've got grammar on the brain, but that can be fatal. Noun, but known, to know, yes? So to know, knew, and then the past participle, known. Try it.
Known.
That's it, good, much better. And then the next one is a bayou, the bayou.
Bayou.
Yes, it's more of an American term. Okay, you can read books, especially I think anything set around New Orleans or down south. They often talk about the bayou, down by the old bayou. And then lagoon, not lag, lagoon. Try it.
Lagoon.
Yeah, and then something that would describe this area actually that we're sitting, estuary, an estuary.
Estuary.
Yeah. And the last one, which is it's a little bit of a mean word to put in to learners, but it's a word that's used a lot, detritus. Anybody know what detritus is?
It's like a debris.
Yeah, debris. Sorry. Debris, silent S. Okay. Detritus, not a silent S. Yeah, any kind of waste or debris is detritus. Okay. And you can also call it, you can use that word to describe this kind of sand, gravel, mud, silt mix. So what we've got in this mud flat, we've got a mixture of sand, silt, mud and gravel. Okay, little stones. And it makes this mud flat. And that's why we've got a problem with the seagulls, because they love these areas. Okay, any questions apart from killing seagulls? You've got a visitor, Traum. I'll move him a bit further away if he's annoying you. If you're finding it difficult to hear, though, just in case. But we're not killing anybody. Hang on, let me move him. Send him out to sea so he can go and get some food. Okay, is that any better? Oh, maybe it's this one. Actually, he's going to be even noisier. Sorry. I thought it was the one that was flying. It's not. Okay, he's going to go and get some food there. Okay, is that better, Traum? Thank you, Rima.
Yes, much better. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, the text is in the chat. Okay, so I can give you another copy of it. I'm not doing a notepad, I'm just putting it in chat. Okay, so Alex, have you got voice? My next question, of course. Can we hear you? Oh no. No, I can't hear you, Alex. I'm sorry. I don't know what's wrong with your mic, or your mic setup, or something. I don't know. I don't understand it. So the next person I think on my list is Monique. Are you okay to read, Monique?
Okay,
Okay.
hold on. Try this. I'll start. Okay.
Okay. Good. There's some lovely terms here.
Oh, can imagine.
Okay. I know, I don't understand it either, Alex. I can only think you've got a wibbly wobbly connection. That's the only thing that could make this difference. Anyway, Monique, here's your text, if you'd like to read that when you're ready.
Okay, tidal flats along with intertidal salt marshes and mangrove forests are important ecosystems. They usually support a large population of wildlife and are a key habitat that allows tens of millions of migratory shorebirds to migrate from breeding sites in the northern hemisphere to non-breeding areas in the southern hemisphere. They are often of vital importance to migratory birds, as well as certain species of crabs, mollusks, and fish. In the United Kingdom, mudflats have been classified as Biodiversity Action Plan Priority Habitat.
Very good, nicely read, well done. Okay, so, yeah, tidal flats. And you can see more terminology that would sort of describe these areas. Mangrove forests, salt marshes, intertidal salt marshes. They're not just biodiverse, they're actually vocabulary diverse. Okay, so just two little words for you. Well done for correcting yourself. When you see ECO, it's eco. So you sometimes might see this word eco-warrior. Yeah? I don't know if you've ever heard of an eco-warrior. Somebody who fights for ecology. So we say eco, but ecology and ecological. So it's a funny one. And then with an H, that's when we have the term echo. Echo. Like echo, 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 echo.
There's echo here.
So echo is when you're testing your microphone in Webinar Jam and you hear an echo, or you should.
Echo, echo.
That's the one. I think there is a song actually. I can hear you echo, echo, echo. Or am I thinking about umbrella, rella, rella? I don't know. And then mollusks. A mollusk.
I knew it.
Yay.
It's just mollusks. Yeah, because I said molluscus. No,
Yeah, you
that
did.
sounds Spanish. Molluscus, okay.
Mollusk. And those of you who were in the book reading for 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, can anybody name a mollusk? Who can name a mollusk? Anybody?
Okay, then
Alex is French. Alex should know one mollusk.
Escargot.
Yeah, snails are mollusks, absolutely. And you also get octopus's mussels. So anybody, April, you should have known mussels. A staple, part of the staple diet in your area, I think. Mussels.
mussels, slugs.
Yeah,
Okay.
snails in your garden, they're mollusks, etc. Yeah. So mollusk and sometimes mollusk. Yeah. Okay, but escargot is snail in English. Snail. Okay.
Oyster slim? Is that a mollusk?
Is an oyster a
I think so.
mollusk? I think it must be, because it's not got.
Because
It's
it's
in
not
a
a shell.
shell. Yeah, it's in a shell. Yes, it's a
So
mollusk.
probably.
Yeah. It's a bivalve mollusk. You want to get really technical? Because they squirt along. That's how they move. I don't know if you've ever watched nature programs that show how oysters move. It's quite fascinating. It really is. So yeah, maybe we'll find some oysters here. Oh, I wonder, have I got an oyster in my inventory? Oyster. Okay, let's have an oyster. Okay, there's a mollusk for us. Okay. Doesn't look very mollusky, but there you go. He'll do. He'll do. Okay. Yay! There you go. Seems to be just the top half of an oyster, so I don't know. Anyway, let's put him in there. Okay, so any questions?
Salt marshes. Is that the salt bath? So it's the same as salt bath?
I'm not sure what you mean. Can you type it up, April? Salts? Do you mean bog?
Marshes.
Marshes.
Marshes. Marshes.
Yeah,
Salt
but
marshes.
you said is that the same as salt? Did you mean salt bog?
Bath.
Salt bath?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I call that bath because it is divided in square bath, actually. The salt. Isn't it? I think.
Gosh, I'm not sure what you mean. Salt bath. Do you mean bath salts?
Not bath salt. Bath salt. You mean for us?
Yeah, bath salts would be something you put into your bath. I haven't heard of salt baths at all.
No, if
Or
you
squares.
go to the beach where they gain the salt.
Ah,
No,
okay. I've got you.
it's
I've got you. I've
divided.
got you.
The place, the region is divided in boxes. Yeah, kind of square
Where
boxes.
they're
And
trying
I
to
call it
extract
bath.
the salt. Yeah, where they're trying to
Yeah.
extract the salt. I have no idea what you call the area where they try to extract the salt. Okay, I've been there. I've been because Ask hubby. I'm forbidden from buying any salt at the moment. I love buying salt. I go to places, I buy salt. I don't know why. It's one of my things. Uh, I'm not allowed to buy any more till we've used up some of what we've got. But yes, places like Garamond, they're not salt mines. They're just salt extraction areas, I guess. And yes, they divide the area into squares and then they dry it out. And I know what you mean exactly now. So yeah, salt extraction. That's what I can find here. So if anybody wants to have a look here. Okay, that's a salt extraction area, but I don't think we've got, I wouldn't call them salt baths, no, personally. Because if you say salt baths to me, I think of something I can get in and have a nice relaxing soak. They probably wouldn't want
You
me to
can
do
get
that.
in, but then you have to.
But a marsh is more, a salt marsh is more a wetland that's continually wet. Okay, you were talking about, oh, but it's not wet, April. A wetland marsh is continually wet and boggy. Okay, and you get much more vegetation on wetland areas with longer grass and cattails and let me just, if we wanted a wetland here, it would have to be more towards the water maybe. And let me just see. Okay, so if I give you an idea of some wetland. Okay, so it would have longer, greener area. It wouldn't be dried out. It would be more like this, okay? If you look along the coast a bit, towards the inlet, towards the end of the inlet, you'll see a little bit of salt marsh, okay? In fact, in the UK, there are parts of the UK where they graze sheep on salt marshes, and the meat is slightly salty. It's very expensive. It's called salt marsh lamb, okay? So... Not quite hybrid sheep, no, but they graze off this salty grass, and so the meat takes on a slightly salty taste. And yeah, very expensive though. So I think the next person to read will be Traum. Traum, are you okay to read?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
And thank you for the. I do not know what you did actually with the seagulls, but the
I relocated
silence is. Okay. Great.
Okay, so there's your text, Traum.
Okay. The maintenance of mudflats is important in preventing coastal erosion. However, mudflats worldwide are under threat from predicted predicted sea level rises, land claims for development, dredging due to shipping purposes, and chemical pollution. In some parts of the world, such as East and Southeast Asia, mudflats have been reclaimed for agriculture, and industrial development. For example, around the Yellow Sea region of East Asia, more than 65% of mudflats present in the early 1950s had been destroyed by the late 2000s.
Very good. Well done. Nicely read. So, any questions?
Why is it destroyed? I don't understand.
Okay, yeah, why are we destroying these places? Well, I can give you a very good current example. Might not happen, but it might happen if Bojo gets his way. Boris Johnson wants, well, Heathrow needs to be expanded, they say, and Boris Johnson wants a new runway built on the mudflats on the Thames estuary. Okay, now there's a lot of opposition, but we are encroaching. Once upon a time, these areas were seen as useless, a waste of space, a waste of land. They'd be drained, turned into farmland, or they'd be used for dumping stuff into them. And it's only as we've become more ecologically aware that we realise how important they are in the whole biodiversity that people talk about nowadays. Okay, so we are destroying these habitats. What do you mean, April? We think. We think. What do you mean?
We think that we know more about ecology.
Well, we think,
But you
yeah.
don't
Well, we
do
do.
it.
No, that's unfair. We do know more. Problem is, most people couldn't care less. The thing is, if it starts to inconvenience us, we're very cruel to nature. We're very cruel to nature. Okay, we fight her every step of the way as soon as she becomes inconvenient. Anyway, let me give Traum her feedback. So first of all, we do say to maintain, Traum. So the verb is to maintain something, to keep it working. Yeah, I have to maintain the websites. And then we have maintenance. Maintenance.
Yes. The schwa sound.
Your favourite. Nom, nom, nom.
Oh, yes, okay. Yes. Maintenance.
Not mine, main. Maintenance.
Okay, maintenance.
That's it. If I give you the, you'll see it. Maintenance. Oop. Okay.
Maintain. Okay. Maintain.
There you go.
The verb.
So maintenance.
Maintenance.
Yeah. And if you
Uh-huh.
notice the
Okay.
middle is in brackets, that means some people might say maintenance, but it's not good English. Maintenance is better. Maintenance is a bit slangy, okay? Maintenance.
Maintenance.
Okay. Then erosion. Erosion, to erode.
Okay, erosion.
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 Not shun, jun.
Erosion.
Yes, better. Yeah, that's it. Erosion. Okay. Now, April, that also destroys these habitats, but that's nature doing it. And whenever you live along the coast, you are in danger of suffering from some kind of effect of erosion. I posted something on Interesting Facts where a whole hotel fell into the sea. Just poof, it had gone through erosion. And
Erosion.
that's it, yeah, erosion. Okay. Then the next one,
Okay.
it's the whole phrase. Okay, such as East and Southeast Asia. So you've got East Asia and Southeast Asia, but you split it up. Rather than saying such as East Asia and Southeast Asia, you just say such as East and Southeast Asia. Okay?
Yeah, I saw this, but during my reading, the computer gave me a notification that the battery is running down, and so the whole the letters were hidden by the message I got, and therefore I put it, and I knew I was wrong when I read it, but now I try it again. This time better, I hope so. Such as East and Southeast Asia.
That's much better.
Southeast
Well done.
Asia.
Yes. Good. Well done. Well done. Any questions? No? Then let's see who's next in the
I think
reading.
I
Yes.
understand. I think I understood the text completely.
Good, well done. Because there's a little bit of what I'd call specialist vocabulary in this. You know, it's not always easy to understand some of this specialist vocabulary.
Yes, I know. And it's very dangerous to ask this to Lynn, to say this in front of Lynn, because she will find and ask some question that could be not so fine for me. But, yeah.
Am I that scary?
No, no.
No, no.
No, no.
Well, if you were scared, you'd have to say no, wouldn't you? No, not at all.
I'm not. No, I'm not. No, I'm not at all.
Good. I'm glad.
I fear you could find. I fear you could find a word or a phrases and ask me, and I would blush maybe.
Well, that's all right because we can't see your face. So anyway, Reem, have you got voice? Can we hear you? Can you hear us?
Yes, it's okay here.
Yay!
No problem.
Excellent. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll give you your text stream whenever you're ready.
Okay.
Okay, there you go.
Yes. Mid flat segment deposits are focused into the intertidally zone, which is composed of a parent zone, marsh, and still band. Within this area are various ratios of sound and melt that take up the sedimentarily layers. The scouted growth of the Castillo sediment deposits can be attributed to rate of substance along with ratios of disposition. Example, still transported via a river and change in sea level.
Okay, well done. Well done. And well done. I could tell that you were looking at the words and taking care. Okay. Now, that means we're going to work on the pronunciation more. So I'm being a bit more strict on your pronunciation than I have been. So don't scream when you see the corrections, okay? That's why you're here.
Yes.
Okay, first, the deposits. Think about going to the bank and putting money in. You make a deposit. And when the tide comes in, the sea brings in everything, all the detritus from out at sea, and it deposits it on the sand. So, deposits. Try it.
Deposits.
That's it, good. Then you've got the word tidal. Tidal, the tides. Yeah, the tides come in, they go out. And that's tidal, the tidal movement of the sea. Try it. Tidal.
Tidal.
Yeah. And then in between, as they're coming in and going out, we call it intertidal.
Intertidal.
Perfect. Yeah. It's just syllables, remember. Don't be too scared when you see a long word. Just intertidal. 4 syllables. Intertidal. Intertidal.
Intertidal.
That's it.
Intertidal.
Yeah. English is composed of syllables, and once you can figure out the syllables, you can pretty much figure out the pronunciation. So the next one, composed, made up of, composed. Try it.
Compose.
Very
Compose.
good. And then marsh. Not march. March is with the CH. Marsh.
Yeah. Marsh.
That's it. Good.
Marsh.
And then one that you might need if you do math, ratios.
Yeah. Ratios. Not
Ratios, yeah. The ratio of men
Ratios.
to women in this session, the women are winning. Okay, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've got a 6-to-2 ratio of women to men in this session.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, 6-to-2 ratio. You're outnumbered, guys. Okay, the next one
Yeah.
is sand. Sand.
Sand.
That's it.
Sand.
Sand and mud.
Mud. Mud.
That's it. Sedimentary, another long word. So let's look at it. We've got sedimentary. Sedimentary. Sedimentary.
Sedimentary.
That's it.
Sedimentary. Four syllables.
Bit
Yeah.
more. So if you clap it, sedimentary. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sedimentary. Okay,
Sedimentary.
That's it.
Sedimentary.
perfect. Then associated.
Associated.
Yes.
Associated.
Now I'm sure if I wrote, I've noticed this with you, if I wrote associate to you'd be fine. It adds that D, puts it into the past, it throws you. It's just ud. Sometimes it's a silent E, but in this case we pronounce the E. Normally when it's T-E-D, the E is pronounced. Associated. Okay,
Associated.
good. Then coastal. Again, you know coast, so don't be confused
Yes.
when something's added to that word. Use the word coast and then think, okay, al or ul. It's got to be one or the other. This is ul, so coastal. Try it.
Coastal.
Good.
Coastal.
Yeah. Next one, attributed. Attributed.
Attributed.
Yeah.
Attributed.
Sorry, I've just looked at the
Attributed.
context. Attributed, not attributed. Attributed. I'm doing it now. Attributed.
Attributed. Attributed.
Yeah,
The,
that's
the
it.
three syllables we stress in the three and a P. Attributed. Attributed.
Attributed. Attributed.
Attributed.
Okay, good. To attribute something, or to attribute something, something has attributes. Okay. Okay. I have to be careful about doing the syllable bit because then I might throw myself off on my own pronunciation. Okay. Then subsidence. Subside, but subsidence.
Subsidence.
That's it.
Subsidence.
That's it. Now, if something subsides, it slips, it moves to one side. So you've got erosion, where the sea is moving the land away, eating away at the land. Then you have subsidence, where the land is falling away, if you like. Okay? So,
yeah.
pretty dangerous living on land, isn't it?
Yeah.
The next one, rates. Not ratios, rates.
Rate.
That's
Rates.
it. Yeah, different rates, different amounts in this context, yeah. A different rate of erosion, a different rate of subsidence, different amounts. And the last one is via. Via.
Via. Via.
That's it, yes. When you go to the shops, you might go via the coffee shop. So you go to the coffee shop first, then you go to the shops.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not sure what people have... Oh, sorry, Monique had to go. Sorry, Monique. I'm sorry. I'll just send her a bye. Okay. Okay, any questions?
Thanks.
You're welcome.
What does it mean, rates here, Lynn? Rates of subsidence, the tempo, the speed?
The speed, yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Different rates, different amounts of subs. So one area might be quite solid and the next bit it's subsiding at a much faster rate. Okay?
So you said subsidence is when the land falling
Falling
away?
away, yes. In
And
the
deposition?
UK, well, in the UK we have a bad problem, okay, of subsidence in places where there has been mining over the years, and suddenly houses start basically dropping into the earth and cracks appear in the walls. You have to have your house checked for subsidence if you buy a house in the UK, especially if it used to be a mining area. Germany too. Anywhere where there's been... Same problem in France. Okay, Alex. Yeah, it's a big problem because the house looks solid. What you don't realise is underneath the house, where you can't see, there's a great big hole. Yeah, a
And
hole.
what do we
Not a
call that,
hole,
Lynn?
a hole.
What hole? What hole? Oh, I can't remember the name. So the hole that
The
that
sinkholes.
is
The sinkholes.
a sinkhole.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's massive subsidence. Okay, a sinkhole is a total collapse of the area of Earth. Subsidence is more a slippage. Okay, so the house doesn't disappear, but suddenly it's the walls aren't quite straight. The floors are a little bit off kilter. You start getting cracks in the ceiling or in the walls, and you know you've got a problem with subsidence. We won't go into this. That would be more about the renovations, I think. We won't go into it too much, but yeah, you can end up having to underpin your house and have major work done. So yes, if you buy a house in any part of the world where there's been massive mining or any kind of extraction, even water extraction can cause subsidence, then you need to have a proper survey done.
And
Okay,
deposition is in the river, Lynn?
the deposits, you mean?
Deposition, deposition, no?
No, deposition is more a legal term.
At the end of the text, with rates of deposition.
Oh yes, sorry. Yeah, yeah. With rates of deposition, that's when the stuff's coming in rather than being taken out. Like your bank account. You put money in, you deposit it, then the money's gone into your bank, you have more money in your bank. Okay? You take the money out, you extract it, then you've got less money in your bank. Okay.
But in this
Careful
case,
of the
it
word
happens,
deposition because sorry, I didn't realise that's the one you meant. It can also mean when somebody writes their statement in a court of law is a deposition. I've got that on the brain at the moment because I'm fascinated with what's happening in America. Subsidence can exist along the coast, as can erosion. Alex, it depends how the land is being affected as to whether it's erosion or subsidence. Okay, so a cliff collapsing into the sea could be erosion or subsidence. Okay.
And what do we call that mat that if you stand on there, you will be sucked in?
That's quicksand.
What do we... Quicksand?
Yep.
Okay.
That's quicksand. Or marsh or bog. Marshes and bogs can also have that effect. But along the coast like this, you have to watch out for quicksand. Actually, you're very unlikely to drown in quicksand. What normally happens is you get stuck in it, and then the tide comes in, and then you're toast. Okay, so very, very quickly, April, I don't think you've got to read yet, have you?
Am I the last one?
You are. You'll have to be the last one. Yes, I'm afraid. So I'm afraid you've got a horrible word in here, but there you go. There's your bit. Okay.
Okay. Barren zones extend from the lowest portion of the intertidal zone to the marsh areas. Beginning in close proximity to the tidal bars, sand-dominated layers are prominent and become increasingly muddy throughout the tidal channels. Common bedding types include laminated sand, ripple bedding, and bay mud. Bioturbation also has a strong presence in barren zones.
Very good. Bioturbation. My goodness, what a word. That's a specialist geological word. It just means where you've got the wildlife or the living organisms like worms and mussels and anything that sort of digs into the sand or the soil. That's bioturbation, disturbance. Well done. April, I'd just like you to read that little snippet out, please.
In close proximity to...
Perfect. Well done. I wasn't 100% certain whether you said close or close. I didn't quite catch it. I wanted to check. Very good. Well done. Okay, so we know a little bit more about mudflats now, I think. So sorry you didn't get to read Tough Guy, but I didn't have you on my list early enough to time it properly. So next time, remind me. Okay. And any questions, just write them on the forum. But we'll be in Webinar Jam in 15 minutes or so. And Monique sent me a message about hair, but I'm not sure what she meant. Monique, I don't know what you mean about hair, but I will check. And I'm sorry I didn't see you leave. I was concentrating on giving corrections. Sorry about that. So if you're watching this, Monique, I apologise. Don't forget to stand up before you log out, everybody. Alex, I don't know what to suggest unless ask Aladdin if he's running an Ask Aladdin session on Monday, because I think you really need some technical assistance with it's either your connection or your setup. But there's no reason why it should be working and then it should stop working unless it's your connection. So there might be something you can do to improve the stability of your connection. Okay. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the session anyway, and we will see each other, I'm sure, in another session. Fingers crossed it will work. Okay. Take care. Bye. Thanks for coming. Bye-bye.
Bye.
So, welcome to Let's Talk About It, and we're in Kitely, of course. We've moved along the coast a bit, if you notice, but before we start the actual session, I just want to say, April, you asked about the vocabulary challenge, and I've been looking and scratching my head. I tried to figure out a way to do an extra session. I can't, so it will be all changed for Friday's session in Kitely. Friday's session in Kitely will be aimed at the previous week's vocabulary challenge, okay?
At 3 o'clock then?
Yes, the 3 o'clock session, yeah. Okay, and that way, if we don't cover everything, we can always sort of extend it a bit into TGIF, and but I'm hoping we'll be able to do sort of one a week, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. It's just I've decided I don't want Monday Live Chat to be for the vocabulary session because it's the beginning of the week. Some people aren't, well, a lot of people aren't taking part in vocabulary challenge, and it's a bit boring for them if they have to sit through that. Kitely is more restricted, as you know, for people who can take part. And with the streaming and the fact I've got more visual elements in Kitely, I think it will lend itself. Okay, so does anybody need a lounger? Rima, there's a spare lounger for Traum, so don't worry about standing and being a gentleman. There are enough loungers for everybody. April, come and lie with me, Hermina. Now there's an offer, Hermina. Come lie with me, Hamina. Sorry, April, you were saying.
What was my question again? For vocabulary challenge, are you going to stream? Because I thought that
Yes.
the pictures is not.
Yes, I'm going to stream, but not with
Ava-
the pictures.
oh, not with picture.
No, I can't stream the pictures. Well, I can, but then I can't publish them on YouTube. So I won't be streaming the picture. What I can do with Kitely, though, is I can, I don't know, find some bottles of shampoo, maybe some sun lotion, that kind of thing. Okay, but let's start on today's session. Otherwise, we won't get anything done. So, last week and the week before, we were down on the beach, on the seafront. It was an urban sort of seafront. You could go and buy your ice creams. You could maybe go to the pub. Everything was there. But this past the dunes, and suddenly we're on a slightly different landscape, if you like. Okay.
Exactly.
Tram is desperate to lie next to me.
Definitely.
Oh my goodness. You've done it, Tram. Well done. Yeah. I'm afraid it's very difficult to share such things in Kitely. It's not like Second Life. Oh, you can't see me again. I don't know. I had problems earlier as well. Maybe we've got a bit of lag on the servers. Anyway, we can hear each other. That's important. The streaming's working too, so you can always watch the stream. I'm not in my bikini though. I'm sitting here in my normal outfit. So Rima, take the mic.
We have actually it's like a Siri from Montenegro. They call it, like, if I try to literally translate, Budva on the foam of the sea, like, because it's so close to the water, like. And I don't know if it's like something similar. Like you can see like the bubbles from the sea, like it's so close to the water. So I thought that maybe because we are so close to the water.
So it's not a very
No.
large area. Can you type up what it is? Well, we're next to some cliffs, Alex, but I'm just trying to figure out what Rima means. April wrote foam. You can
No, that
sometimes
was
get
my question
foam.
to Rema.
Oh, okay.
Was my question because he said foam. But I don't see any foam.
Yes, but it's like you can't see, but it's like I don't know if it's maybe it's I can't translate it literally. Maybe it's because they try to like attractiveness of location, like the seaside is because it's so close to the sea. Like we are right now so close to the water, so like this location is very attractive. It's not 1 kilometer far away from this place, so you can actually smell or something like it. You can notice some bubbles and how waves are coming or something similar. But I just literally translate because maybe we use in our.
This week we're somewhere a little bit different. How would you describe this immediate area where we're all sitting? Where do you think we are geographically, geologically speaking, if you like? Ooh. Alex, you've got your mic open? If you could mute.
Sorry, I didn't hear your question because
There's a lot of noise there. Yeah, your microphone's open.
Yes.
But you're in a noise. Okay. How would you describe this area where we're sitting? It's not really a beach. It's not really the seaside. It's along the coast, but how dry? Yes, luckily the tide's out. Anything else? the shore, yes, but the shore can also be the beach. There's a special term you can use for this kind of place.
I don't know the term in English.
Ah, yeah, that's always the
When
problem,
you have
isn't it?
yes, when you have a high slope between the shore and the water.
Yeah, that's often, you could call it a beach, but this isn't really, I mean, okay, we've got some sun loungers, but this isn't really the place you'd aim for if you wanted to go to the beach. We'd move further along the coast, back towards the ice cream shop if we wanted to be on the beach.